NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 is KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KUPD HD2 Tempe Phoenix.
Live from the Moon Saloon in Peoria, Arizona, this is Real Hockey Talk, but we're going to do a little bit different talk. Of course, Olympic talk we're going to do for a little while, the first portion of the show, because we have a very, very special guest. I'm Dave Isaac alongside Greg. And our friend Scott Mamoser is with us. Scott, you've been on our show. Yeah, it's always nice having you. I always see you at the Mercury Games. You cover, of course, a lot of different events, mainly women's events, right?
Yes.
I think you're a lucky guy. That's what I'm trying to say right now. And, of course, I think you're going over to the Olympics in a few weeks.
Yes.
Man, you're a world traveler. Phenomenal. You've been almost every country.
Almost.
This is very exciting. So this is NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060, KDUS, Breakthrough Sports here. And come on down, the Moon Saloon at 16554 North 83rd Avenue, Peoria. And that's zip code 85381. The Moon Saloon, great place. And we have a very, very special guest. Someone really reaching the highest level, I believe, in her sport. Because she's off to the Olympics. That's exciting. Katarina Simonovic, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, this is exciting. So let's talk a little bit about you, about your background. You're going to Arizona State University on the swim team.
That's right.
And how long have you been there?
I'm going into my senior year, so I've been there for 3 years so far.
Very, very cool. So, and you're from Serbia.
That's right. I was born and raised in Arizona, actually, but first generation. So both sides of my family are from Serbia.
That is very cool. So you qualified to go to the Olympics for Serbia.
Yeah.
How? And before we get into your background, I want to know how exciting that is for you.
Yeah, definitely a whirlwind of emotions going on. Since it's all happened and kind of, since I've experienced it all, I've gone back and hopped right back into training. So to be quite honest, I don't even know that it's hit me yet. But as soon as I start packing my bags, it's going to be pretty insane. So
this has got to be perhaps one of your best experiences, maybe of your life, to be able to participate in something that most people would only dream of.
Yeah, I mean, it is a dream for any athlete, and especially Olympic sports. It's the highest. It's the highest level. I'm going to be competing on a world stage, so that's going to be pretty cool. But it's definitely been a goal that's been in mind and kept in mind and written on paper, since I have been recruited to college. Most college athletes, this is a prime age we're in, and we're all competing, to reach our highest level and potential. So definitely been a goal, but yeah, of course, living the dream right now and really excited.
I think it's phenomenal. And do you think you'll be competing against any of your teammates currently on ASU? Are they going to be at some a U.S. team or other countries?
So we have one other ASU swimmer who's qualified, and he swims for Hungary. But in terms of like Pac-12, especially my event, the 200 freestyle and any mid-distance freestyle, really, it's pretty heavy set Pac-12. So there's going to be quite a few girls that I know for the U.S. team representing schools like Stanford and Cal and such like that.
So you've competed against them before.
Right. I've had the opportunity here in the U.S., so it'll be cool to be on international grounds racing the same girls.
I think that's incredible. Believe it or not, when I was in high school, and I don't think anyone will believe it, I was actually on the swim team. And I got better as the year went on, but I swam the breaststroke, and I tried the butterfly. Way too hard for me. I know you do the 200 free. That's your specialty.
Right, mid-distance freestyle.
Have you ever done the butterfly?
Yeah. We train all 4 strokes, but fly is my second best stroke probably.
Really? I should have known you back then. You weren't around though, but I thought that was really difficult personally. But swimming's great exercise for sure. And how did you?
I was younger. I played soccer, and I was pretty involved in that sport, and that was kind of, where I wanted to go and at what I thought at the time. But
you thought you could have made the national team?
I was really young at the age. I was around 8, 9 years old when I was playing, and I had a knee injury. I dislocated one of my knees, and when we saw the family doctor, he told us, swimming is really good for joints. It's good for rehabilitation. So that's kind of how that whole thing started. My parents, not knowing much about swimming at the time, just kind of threw me in the local club team, and we got in, and it picked up from there. I loved the competitive aspect of it, and racing was awesome, and kind of just stuck with that.
So is that the main ingredient? With most swimmers, the competition is the thrill of improving as well as competing and pushing yourself to even greater accomplishments?
It's got to be. With the amount of hours we put in and stuff, if you're not willing to put in, hours and hours a week to shave off tenths of a second, then you're totally in the wrong sport. I mean, it takes a lot of time and dedication, and it all counts. Every millisecond you're racing for counts. So.
Wow. Now, how's your time, your best time compared to some of the other Olympians? Are you within?
Right. So I qualified for the Olympics with an A qualifying standard, and to qualify, there's either the B standard or the A standard that you can qualify with, and the A usually ranks amongst, I'd say, top 30 in the world. So.
Oh wow. Well, that's good.
Yeah, once you're at the games with an A qualifying standard, it's just a matter of dropping a little bit more time to making semifinals or finals. So.
And how do you drop more time? Is it more practice or refining a technique? Is it the mindset or all of above?
I mean, if it were a simple formula, I think we'd all have quite a bit of success. But I mean, there's a lot that goes into it as far as training. As soon as I qualified, I came back and hopped right back into it. With the hopes of pushing myself a little bit further and pulling those boundaries out a little bit wider to see how much more I can drop at the games. So.
Wow. Now, in the beginning of the Olympics, I suspect you're going to be walking around the track when they introduce each country.
Right.
How cool is that going to be?
Oh man, that's the dream. I mean, that's experience
Opening
everyone.
day.
I think, waits for.
Or night. I don't know if they do it day or night, but. Yeah. Do you know some of your other fellow athletes from Serbia?
Right. Yeah, I do. There's 3 other swimmers going, and we kind of grew up swimming against each other. So.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
That is really a cool deal, right? Wow, Scott. I know you must have a bunch of questions.
Oh yeah.
Fire away.
Can you talk a little bit about the qualifying process? I know it was rather difficult. You had to go through the European Championship first in London, and then you had to go to Italy to get the A standard.
Right. Every country usually has its own way of qualifying. For example, the U.S. has Olympic trials, and everyone will go to that meet, and top 2 spots go. But being from Serbia, we kind of do it on a time standard base. So my country actually announced last year at the World Championships that they wouldn't send any swimmers unless they qualified with an A time standard. So, I went to Rome for my kind of gear-up meet for that, and it was FINA approved, so kind of shot for the A standard there, and it worked out.
Okay, and can you talk a little bit about last year's World Championships in Kazan and how that prepared you for this event? And I know you were also in the Youth Olympics a few years ago in Singapore.
Right. The World Champs, so that is not the most delighting story to tell because I didn't swim great, but it definitely helped in preparation for the games because I think it kind of shook my world up a bit. I hadn't competed, at that high of a level yet, and being there with those top-tier swimmers, I just realized how much work there was ahead of me coming home, and it really helped just motivate me when I got back. And, as soon as I got back, I got straight to work. So, you only not really a huge chunk of time to get serious, so definitely, helped motivate me. So, yeah.
Now, how old were you when you went to the Youth Olympics?
Let's see, that was in 2010, so 6 years ago, 20, right now I'm 21, my math, great. 15, yeah.
So you've really been talented since at a young age then.
Yeah, I mean, swimming is pretty competitive at a younger age. Once you get to college, it's more, a lot of work to drop smaller fractions of time, so, yeah.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about the college season, how this went? I know you did say it was a little difficult for you, but still it had to be good preparation for the games.
Right. Again, my college season it didn't live up to the expectations I had hoped, but I think that also helped kind of shape the beginning of the summer. And again, gear into that. But it was good. I had a really good training cycle, from last August to up until now. I definitely could tell, picked up my nutrition game, kind of stepped up in all areas and really started focusing in. And I could tell in my training that things were getting better and everything was looking good. So.
Okay, so today is the 16th of July. You said you're going to leave on the 31st. That's about 2 weeks. About how many hours a day are you going to train for the next 2 weeks up until that time?
It'll probably vary depending on the day of the week, but anywhere from, I'd say, 2 to 4.
But that's what it takes. Either, right?
Up and make sure I'm at my peak level.
You didn't feel that you. Why don't we with Olympic participant.
She's going to have that title the rest of her life.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That's Katarina Simonovic, and I'm Dave alongside Scott Mammoser. So we'll go on a break right now, and we'll continue our discussion. This is NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 KDUS. We're here at the Moon Saloon in Peoria, and that's 16554 North 83rd Avenue in Peoria, 85381. A lot of great stuff. Come on down. We'll be here till 4. If you come now, you'll see a Rio Olympian. I've never seen a Rio Olympian, and now I have. And she has her Arizona State hat, university hat on. And if you're U of A, it still doesn't matter. Come on down. We'll all be friendly. Again, this is Breakthrough Sports live here at the Moon Saloon, and we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Brian Krebs from Sports for YouTube. Make sure to join us every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. only on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060.
And welcome back again. You're listening to Breakthrough Sports live here on NBC Studios, but actually we're not in the studio. We're at the Moon Saloon in Peoria. So come on down, 16554 North 83rd Avenue in Peoria, and meet, of course, most unique young woman who swims for ASU, Katarina Simonovic, and she's going to the Olympics for Serbia. That is got to be a highlight reel in your life, and I feel excited for you. And I just met you. So take us, I think the last question I was asking, and of course we're here with, of course, our friend Scott Mammoser, great writer, great talent in the world of women's sports. Lucky guy, that's all I can say. Now, you mentioned, I think, the European Championships. You didn't feel you swam your best.
The World Championships, yeah.
The World Championships. I think you're going to have to, Greg, turn her up a little bit. How's that? Okay. I don't hear me, but I hear me. What happens when you don't feel you swim your best? Is it something you just wake up and you're just not feeling the energy? What's the feeling like?
I think in a sport like swimming, you really have to get back to the drawing board and stay focused and kind of go right back to routine and fix where you think you went wrong. More so than anything, because there's not much, you don't got a huge margin of time, to improve. So the longer you kind of lag and are bummed out about a bad swim, the more damage it's doing, really. So I think more than anything, after the World Champs, as soon as I came home, I was back to the drawing board, like thinking about, where did we go wrong? What can we fix? And where can I improve?
Do you look at film, too? Is there film of you?
Yeah, we filmed some races, go back and, modify some things from prelims to finals and kind of look at some technical stuff going into practices and stuff. So, yeah.
So here you are. And if I remember, when you dive, it's called the block, right?
Yep.
See, I wasn't listening. So you get on the block. I remember getting on the block. Everyone's looking at you. It's very nerve-wracking sometimes. But what are you focused on? So you're about to race. Are you worried about someone to your left or right or whatever? Or what do you focus on when you're about to take that dive in the water?
I think every swimmer is different, definitely different. But I think for me, more than anyone, I love to race, and it just comes natural to me. So when I'm behind the block, I obviously have my training in mind and my kind of pace and what's going to happen right in front of me. But I also, keep an eye on the girls next to me and try and get my hand on the wall first. So.
Oh, really? So you do notice who's next to you now?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, if you're not in this like the center lane, let's say you're out a bit, to the left or right, are you able to know who's in the lead if it's someone across this pool? Or
I mean, this is going to sound kind of wild for a non-swimmer, but when you're racing in those lanes, they're not that big, but you can definitely feel where the pack is, who goes out in front, who stays behind. You don't necessarily have to see them or look at them or know where they're at exactly yard by yard, but you can kind of feel their energy and feel the wave, the water, and how it's going and where it's pulling you. So it's sort
of an intuitive feeling that you just know what's going on. And wow. So and let's see, 200 free. So that's a sprint, actually, isn't it?
The 200 free is a combination between sprint and endurance. You got to have a good back end to be pretty good at it, but you also got to have some speed to go out for it because it's not that long.
So what do? You go out quick, pace yourself, like what, the first 50, a sprint, next 50 maybe pace, and then the next 100, boom.
Right, it's kind of a huge puzzle piece, but for me, typically, I usually go out building the first 50, going with adrenaline, letting the energy kind of do its work on its own, and then the middle 100's usually the most important half for me because that's where I need to start pressing it and get it going, because normally when you're coming home, you bring yourself home without focusing too much about what you're doing.
That's just phenomenal, and I bet I suspect you're going to have extra adrenaline, which, would that help you or hurt you in the Olympics?
I think if you use it right, it could definitely help you, but also it could become a huge distraction. I know a lot of people, who are amazing at training and really have it in them to swim well, but once they get to the high level, they fold like a stack of cards, but I mean, if you know what you're doing and you know how to properly engage that energy and that adrenaline, I think it could definitely help you, get you excited, to get you motivated to race.
That is cool. Scott, you probably have a few more.
Yeah. What has it been like to train with Michael Phelps this year?
So Michael and a lot of the other pro swimmers train at a different time than the ASU swimmers by NCAA rule, but it's definitely cool to see him on deck and to see what he does and see how the pro group, does what they do. There's a lot of respect for them from the swimming community, and to kind of see how they go about what they do every day, you definitely learn from it, whether or not you recognize it. Okay.
And last I heard, you were trying to send your private coach to Brazil. How are things going with that?
Oh, right. Dan. Dan coaches for ASU, and he coaches the distance group, which is primarily where I swim, so he's kind of works closely with me. But, yeah, we've been trying to get him some day passes to send him up there. And, I mean, as you can imagine, it's pretty tough. The Olympics are super secured, and it's a really, really big event, so it's hard to get our hands on that kind of stuff. But we're working on it, and hopefully things turn out pretty good.
Okay. What are some of the other things you're looking forward to doing in Rio outside of the swimming? Swimming is obviously the first week, so you'll have the later half of the Olympics to have a good time. What are some other things you're looking forward to?
Definitely meeting people. I'm so excited to expand and network on a global level, especially because, I mean, those friends, that you meet at that platform have got to be friends for a lifetime. They endure and know what it takes to be there, just like yourself. And I think I'm going to find that I have a lot in common with a lot of those people, whether or not we're in the same sport or from the same country. So I think that'll be really cool. And also to just experience Rio. I mean, it's going to be such a beautiful city, and there's going to be a lot of media attention there. And it's just going to be cool. I'm going to be living the dream for a couple weeks.
I know you've been to Lima, Peru, right?
Right, yeah.
Right, this is the first time in Brazil.
Yep, first time.
Cool. Have you met Djokovic yet?
I haven't.
This will be the first time.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. I hear awesome things about him. He's a wild guy, so that'll be cool.
Great.
So you may be part of history with Michael Phelps, right, in the swimming community. How do you think he'll do?
I think he's going to do good. I definitely can't really make any predictions or know what's going to happen because swimming is a world of, unpredictable events. But, anyone can have it when they're behind the blocks. It's a matter of who's going to put their head down and who's going to go, endure it for longer. But Michael is such an awesome character. I've gotten to know him, a bit through this year with him training here. And, you definitely, in seeing what he does, you definitely know why he's the best in the world. So now
he's got to be, late 30s?
Yeah,
right?
31 maybe?
No, I think
early
30s,
30s.
maybe even late 20s.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I thought, how many Olympics I thought he went
5.
This should be his 5th, yeah.
Wow, he must have started really young.
Really
young.
His first Olympics were when he was 15, so.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah,
Well, at 31, as a swimmer, still, is that a little bit on the older side? Or
yeah, on the swimming spectrum, it's a bit on the older side, but the man's got it. He's the greatest Olympian of all time, so I don't think age is going to be a huge factor for him when it comes time to perform.
Do you remember, what was his name? Michael Spitz? No.
Spitz, yeah, Mark Spitz.
Or Mark Spitz, yeah. Wrong first name. That was something, too. Well,
Yeah.
You weren't even born, I don't think.
No.
I weren't even born yet.
I was. It was rather impressive. Oh, the mic for Scott. Anyway, I think, there's so many downs. Yeah. There's so many exciting things that you're going to experience at such a young age. And but you said you thought, you've been dreaming since a young age of going into the Olympics. And is it everything so far leading up to what you dreamt about?
I think, from a young age, every kid who's an athlete, dreams of making it to the Olympics and how big of a deal it is. But it seems so far away when it's, this dream and when you're so young. And now being 21 and kind of looking back at my swimming career and everything I've been through, I think it feels really good. I feel whole and content that I've finally reached, the level that I've been looking towards and up to for so many years. And it's finally, at the peak. I'm at the peak of my career, and that's so exciting to say. And it feels good. It makes me feel confident, and I've gained, through this process, I've surprised myself. I've gained quite a bit of self-respect in a way of,
Oh, really?
I've sat down and said, you've made it, and it's a big deal. It's something you need to sit down and recognize and, pat yourself on the back, because if you don't enjoy this moment right now, I'm never going to be satisfied with anything. And
it's funny you said that. We have coach and general manager of the Arizona Rattlers on, Kevin Guy, quite a bit, and he came up as a coach. He started thinking about, even if you win but you don't play well, you should still embrace the moment, and that's what you're talking about. Is that don't be hard on yourself, because really embrace everything. This is such an accomplishment. And I know competitive athletes always want to do better and better, but there is a time to really stop and smell the roses and go, wow, I've achieved something very, very few will ever get to.
Absolutely. And, in the world of swimming, too, it's a long lifespan. I started when I was 8, and here I am at 21 just getting through my college years. And I think more than anything, once you're at this age and at this point in college, you realize how quick that journey is. And if you really don't stop and appreciate how far you've made it, whether or not it's your dream that you've made, or if you fell a little bit short, if you don't stop and appreciate the journey and the friends you've made and the experiences you've experienced, you ultimately don't even enjoy the journey. And for it being so long in your life, such a huge part of your life, it's so important to love it.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and it looks like we're coming up on a hard break. So, Katarina Simonovic, thank you so much for being on today.
No problem.
And Scott
Thank you for having me.
Momazer, thank you also